welcome to this lecture where we will be focusing on Ripple, also known as XRP, as it's one of the most prominent and popular forms of cryptocurrencies today, and due to its impact in the banking sector, can also be seen as one of the main disruptive technologies currently shaping the industry. But let's start off with a bit of historical background before we jump into some further details. For Ripple, the company building the protocol OpenCoin was founded by CEO Chris Larsen and CTO Jed McCaleb. Originally released in 2012, it was written in C++, and one of the most interesting aspects is that the network can operate without the Ripple company entirely. But it can even claim to go back to 2004 with the Ripple project. The founders had extensive experience coming into this with digital currencies, including working with companies that handled Bitcoin trades and online financial companies. Although Ripple does attract less attention than some specific other cryptocurrencies, Ripple has the second highest market cap. One of the huge benefits is that Ripple can be used for any currency exchange, ranging from traditional currencies, commodities, or even frequent flyer miles. The Ripple network was originally created with 100 billion units. Ripple was intended to be more efficient, such as not utilizing large amounts of electricity to mine, so you can exchange anything of value in an efficient way. And we did mention earlier, and we can see here in a brief example how it works from the following brochure. If you get the chance, take a look through it because it has some great information. And keep in mind that these terms here, the liquidity, it's going to come more into play later with a huge attraction of Ripple related to liquidity. But we can start getting an idea here of the schema, how it works, and who uses it. Think of the banking sector and keep liquidity in mind. We'll get to that in a moment. So you may be thinking, what are some of the benefits of Ripple? Ripple benefits include speed, and that is that XRP is over 1,000 times faster than Bitcoin in terms of confirmation time. The transaction cost is also much lower. It has a higher quality of validators and processing, and it's also ready for enterprise use, which we can see when we discuss the financial sector picking up Ripple. It's also open source software, and anyone can run a server and validator. And as we've mentioned earlier, as an example, if the Ripple company disappeared, it would still function. So those are some pretty crucial benefits. You're talking about speed and lower transaction costs. Those are two key elements within cryptocurrencies. In addition, if you were worrying about more XRP being created, the transaction rules are deterministic and software is open source, so there's no way to create more. Ripple currently holds about 60 billion XRP, or 60% of XRP that will exist, with 55 billion locked in escrow to be released over 55 months, and that's intended to provide supply predictability over a set length of period of time. The ledgers are public, adding increased transparency, and David Schwartz, who is the chief cryptographer at Ripple, mentioned that through 2018, the company plans to focus on adding additional validators for decentralization. And you may be wondering how Ripple compares to Bitcoin or how Ripple sees themselves, but Ripple actually has positioned itself as a complement to Bitcoin because you can use it for any currency. Remember we talked about earlier the currencies, commodities, you can exchange Ripple for any type of currency. And of course, we have to mention blockchain. Ripple's payment network, RippleNet, uses the blockchain technology, but Ripple isn't mined. The company has control. We talked about the distribution in the earlier slide. And to reiterate, a blockchain is a public ledger containing transaction data from anyone who uses the service. Transactions are added to blocks or the links of code that make up the chain, and each transaction must be recorded on the block. Blockchain, one of the most crucial, if not the most crucial components of cryptocurrencies. And here we arrive at the financial institutions. And I mentioned earlier to try and keep liquidity in mind. And one of the most interesting aspects about Ripple and what makes it highly attractive is that for financial institutions, it has that such appeal related to liquidity. And we see with a quote from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse that he mentions the liquidity needs of banks today is managed with literally 10 trillions of float that sits in these nostro and vostro accounts. We believe very strong this is an inefficient model. You can use digital assets to fund liquidity, and Ripple is uniquely positioned to capitalize on that. Bitcoin takes 4 hours to settle a transaction, where XRP takes 3.6 seconds. You can imagine the benefits of financial institutions being able to make these transactions in such a decreased amount of time. 3.6 seconds is almost lightning fast for a transaction time. And if you get the chance, you can visit the brochure mentioned here, and we had it earlier, and we could jump over to that really quickly. If you're able to scroll through it, take the time to look at some of the information and how Ripple presents itself and RippleNet XRP. It is one of the main cryptocurrencies, and it's definitely here to stay with its appeal to financial institutions, along with its speed, lower transaction costs. Those are some crucial components allowing Ripple to succeed within the cryptocurrency environment. In addition, keep an eye out for what Ripple is doing within the next few years. The company, as we mentioned earlier, are working on implementing some additional decentralization options, and I still think we have much more to see to come related to Ripple and its impact in the cryptocurrency market and also in the financial market, especially related to currency exchanges and financial transactions. With that, we can wrap things up.